Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri and today I'm very excited to introduce the guest who's going to give us a lot of information about a sector which is coming up in a big way, which is a sunrise sector. It's a burgeoning industry in India with huge potential for skill development, training, employment, and also entrepreneurship. We are talking about the drone sector, and the excitement is because drone is something I'm also perpetually fascinated about. So we have with us Mr. Amit Takte, who's the VP Technology and Training at DroneAcharya. So we have the DroneAcharya himself with us. Welcome to this talk, Amit.
Thank you.
So first thing we would like to know from you is, I'm sure everybody is curious to know, what are the applications of drone? Like normally we see drones being used in, say, filming something in the entertainment industry or for photography. We see them even in wedding type of functions, or YouTubers have been using it. So besides this, what are the uses of drone, various uses?
Okay. Typically, the sectors which you have just highlighted, the videography, photography sector, are the early adopters of this technology, I would say.
Yes.
Photographers have made this technology visible to everyone during the marriages and the functions. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the limited function which the drone can do. The drone can do enormous amounts of activity. The sectors are, I would say, there are, name a sector which is not in need of a drone. I
Oh.
mean, just to highlight, I would say starting with agriculture, one of the biggest consumer of this technology, urban planning. I mean, I'll just list out the sectors which are right now rushing this particular technology to get into their day-to-day business. Mining, energy sector is another sector which is highly consuming the drone technology. Forest, education, I would say insurance is one of the new sector which has come out because of the drone and the applications of drone. Ports are using drones in a bigger way. Infrastructure industry like the roads as well as the bridges and the dams construction, those industries are using a drone. Security and surveillance, the security and surveillance of the nation, of the cities as well as the state, they are using drone. Disaster management teams are using drones. Utilities, water bodies, I mean, you name it, environment. And we have defense as one of the biggest sector who is being consuming the drone application since long time, but it has gone to a grassroots level of even the soldiers are now getting trained on the drone. I mean, you name the sector, every day the sectors are increasing because of the enormous applications. And most important is the safety of human being. So that's the key line, where wherever there are hazardous work which are being done right now by a human being, जहाँ लोगों को जाके काम करना पड़ता है, which is not in a very good condition, environmentally that is not safe, there the drone is going now. So there are a lot many applications where the drone will be used in the coming future. I mean, the drone taxi is one of the very exciting future we can very well see at the moment, where you will be transported through drones. Yes, I mean, the
Well,
sky is the limit, as they say. And yes, literally the sky is the limit for the drone industry now here.
yeah, I was about to say that I think the phrase "sky is the limit" is something that keeps occurring again and again when we talk about drones, because the way you described it has unlimited usage, right, as of now. But what was interesting is you mentioned insurance. So, how does that work there in the insurance sector?
Okay. One of the biggest key factor insurance is using drone is the application in case of disaster, like a cyclone strikes.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest sector which is affected is agriculture.
Right.
Okay, crops आपके पानी में चले गए, and
Hmm.
farmer is helpless. He needs to get the fund from the government
Yeah.
जिससे वो उसका गुजारा कर पाए.
Hmm.
Correct. Conventionally, a farmer used to get the compensation from the government. It used to take around 6 months of time,
Hmm.
because the amount of damage which has happened to his farms and the field, the evaluation of those was done manually.
Hmm.
Now the drone has come in that sector, where drone is able to collect that information on a need basis.
Hmm.
Immediately within 2 hours, the damage assessment is happening, and the insurance sector, which is linked with the farmers, is getting the right input using the drone data. And that's the way the disbursement of the funds which are given to the farmers are taking a very shorter time lifetime, where the farmers are getting within 2 to 3 weeks of the disaster, they are getting their compensation back from the government. So
Okay.
that has helped the farmer a lot from their day-to-day living being of uh, in the agriculture sector.
Hmm. That's very interesting. It's a very good example, I think, also to show people about like the speed with which the decision is taken, like the data you were talking about, and
That's
also
right.
I think the precision and all that also comes into the picture here,
Sure.
because you said it is all to do with assessing the farm and the damage done to the farm, right? Because
That's
of
right.
because of the water and things. So this is very exciting, and I think we'll come back to this a little later. Now that you mentioned this is a industry where there is sky is the limit, and many things are coming up. So I'm sure there is a need for skilled people. A lot of training requirements are coming up. So how do you perceive this from DroneAcharya's perspective? Like, you're also into training, right? So can you tell us a bit about the
Sure.
kind of capacity building that is needed for an industry like this?
That's right. I mean, the growth to drone industry has already started way back
Hmm.
last year, when the government has started opening up the sector. They
Hmm.
started opening up the sector for the manufacturers as well as for the service providers.
Yeah.
And now the stage has come where the technology is moving at a very rapid speed, and the human skills are not getting developed in that pace.
Hmm.
So I see a big opportunity there for developing the right skill set for the industry, because drone industry requires multiple types of skill sets. The basic skill set is to fly the drone, ability to fly a drone and to perform a particular task using the drone, and for which you require licensing activity. There is an licensing process to get yourself qualified for flying a particular type of drone in the Indian skies. You need to get yourself licensed. That process has become very streamlined and very easy process. I'll come back to that, what exactly are the points which needs to be considered during getting yourself trained. Another area is getting into the specific industry required skill set,
Hmm.
like the agriculture industry requires a very specific skill set to perform the activity using drones, or a mining belt, where you require to have collect the data and process the data, requires a specialized skill training in that particular area. So each of the industry sector will require a specialized training in that particular sector, where the person is going to use this particular technology. From DroneAcharya's perspective, we saw that as an opportunity. I mean, we felt that this is the area where we can really contribute to the nation's skill building activity. Uh, we are basically a core training organization. We are a DGCA certified drone training organization of among 23 approved training organizations in India right now. One of the few leading organizations. We are as well uh, training not just the DGCA certified pilot licensing, but we are as well focused on the industry specific solutions, as I mentioned,
Yeah.
specific to required industry, to the farmers, to the disaster industry, disaster management industry, to security and surveillance industry, okay, to mining, to infra development, you name it. I mean, we are majorly in all those sectors because of the expertise which we are having here in these different domains. So we are integrating the basic piloting, which is the basic requirement to have you getting onto the industry, and then specific to your industry.
Hmm.
Cinematography or photography is one of the leading course which we have, where person wants to get into cinematography or videography of using the drone, he can get the pilot license as well as get himself trained on the technology specific to cinematography. So these are the combinations which we are using, which are helping the industry. It's not just plain vanilla pilots we are generating or we are giving them the certification. We are as well helping them to catch up the industry, catch up the different sector, and decide upon which area they want to enter into and develop their career or develop their business.
Yeah. And for these courses, what is the entry level qualification if somebody wants to, take up these courses?
Right. So DGCA certification, pilot certification has a very basic requirement. You need to be 10th passed,
Hmm.
18 years of age.
Hmm.
You need to have an Indian passport, which is required because of the police background check and verification, which is done during the passport issuing. And I mean, you should be available for 5 days to come down for the training and certification at the location where we are training.
Okay.
So that's the basic, very basic minimal requirement the government has right now kept for getting into the piloting of the drone and getting certified for the pilot license. And this pilot certification is valid for, I would like to say, it's valid for 10 years. If
Okay.
somebody clears it, and he will be eligible to use this piloting skill for the next 10 years. So that's
Okay.
the span they are giving for the valuation as well as the validity of the license which the person will be carrying.
Okay. And one interesting thing which I observe is that, and also when we speak to people, they're most curious about the amount, the fee that they have to pay for these courses. So many people feel that, it is still on the higher side. So what do you have to say about this fee component for any training course?
Okay. I mean, I would say this is a career in itself.
Hmm.
Drone sector is no more a simple skill set. I see this as a complete career. And
Hmm.
if somebody wants to really invest in a career, let's say an engineer wants to get into an engineering course and get a degree of engineering, how much
Yeah.
amount the person spends, how much amount of time the person spends,
Right.
and what is the payback period of that amount. If you
Yeah.
compare all these factors, I would say the amount which a person spends on getting himself a certified pilot and the payback of that particular amount, there is a tremendous difference.
Hmm.
Though the fee ranges varies from different schools to different school, in a range of around 50,000 odd to around 1.25 lakh rupees for the course, depending on the infrastructure, facilities, the
Right.
additional benefits they are giving. That fee varies for the 5 days of DGCA course. But I would say the payback of that amount which you are investing, okay, is very fast, very fast. I've seen people uh, getting on that amount or earning those amount in the first month itself.
Hmm.
I've seen people into the cinematography industry where there is a huge pool requirement for the drone pilots, and I mean the skill set which they acquire on a daily basis, they are earning that much of amount. That I can assure.
Yeah.
There's a, I mean, finally the amount you are investing and the amount you will be earning or the potential you will be tapping using this skill set, it's tremendous. So
Yeah.
compared to that, yes, I would say the fees look slightly on higher side, but I mean, nevertheless, this particular fee is valid for 10 years.
Hmm.
You apportion that cost for 10 years. You are getting the license for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's not one-time fee. You are investing in your career, investing in your business, and that's a pretty small amount as per me.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense because the way you have described it as a career investment, I think that is the seriousness with which people have to approach this sector. And
Absolutely.
also, you were talking about, recovering whatever investment people have made in terms of training. Now, when I look at it from the other side, so either they get recruited, let's say in entertainment industry or in any other, let's say in mining industry or any other industry, but can they also launch themselves as small entrepreneurs, become
Absolutely.
self-employed? Isn't that a
Absolutely.
potential?
That's one of the biggest potential, I would say. I mean, getting onto a job is one area where we promote the pilots, and second one is getting onto entrepreneurship using this skill set. Let's say I do a DGCA pilot license course as well as I do an cinematography course. I am independent. I'm completely on my own, starting the activity and starting the business and the services from my end immediately after completing my course.
Hmm.
So yes, entrepreneurship is one of the biggest sector, I would say, opening up for those who wants to enter into the drone industry as an individual service provider. All
Okay.
these sectors require individual service provider as well because you have a huge potential there, and these big companies, those who are going to invest in this type of technologies and the resources, do require small services. There are, I mean, the entire breadth of frequency as well as an entire breadth of business you have there, which requires different types of skill set and the different types of scale of the businesses. So you independently can be certainly part of this uh, drone boom which we have right now and become an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So for our audience, I'm sure this is another avenue in case the sector interests them. Now I'll come to one important point. We see this sector getting a huge push from the government. Recently, this drone Mahotsav was held in Delhi, and there is a lot of buzz about drone all over. And in this connection, it would be nice to know from you, what are the top 5 job roles or top 5 industry sectors, which one can get into. And also maybe you can focus a bit more on agriculture sector, because there is this talk about agriculture sector going to get benefited a lot with drones, but I don't think there is much awareness about it.
Awareness about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And
Okay.
like I was telling you, often I get questions like, why should a farmer, invest in drone, or how much does it cost? Or will the farmer be able to afford a drone? Now, in case they buy these drones and start using, is there a service required, for them if something goes wrong? So maybe you can throw some light on these connected issues here.
Great.
Yeah.
Coming down to the different types of role a person can perform after entering into this industry, I mean, after getting the required skill set, the first and foremost is the pilot. I mean,
Hmm.
there is a huge requirement for certified drone pilots to perform different types of activities in various industry. So that's a very basic role which has a very big pull in the market right now.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, Scaling up, you companies require project coordinators or project managers, those who understands this technology, those who understands the skill set of the person as well as for the drone industry. So there are different projects which demands understanding and knowledge of the drone industry with a certification from a training institute for the certified pilots. Another sector which I see, or the job role which I see, is the data specialist or data analyst, because finally we are capturing different types of data using drones.
Right.
The data needs to be processed,
Yeah.
because finally the data needs to get into a form where a decision can be made,
Yeah.
and that is done by the data specialist or data analyst. That is one area, I would say, which is going to be in boom in the coming years, because there will be huge data which will be gathered using drones.
Yeah.
And now that data, what to do with that data? So data analytics and AI engine, the artificial intelligence, or building the AI algorithms on that data is going to be the next big task which is going to come in. So I would say those who want to get into the drone industry but not very keen on getting onto the flying activity or piloting activity, they
Yeah.
can certainly get into the data part of it, data analytics part of it,
Yeah.
because that's going to be a very specialized activity for the drone data which is getting captured.
Hmm.
Coming down to another sector, which is the manufacturing and maintenance,
Hmm.
because the amount of drones which we foresee, which will be flying in the Indian skies, will require a lot of equipment maintenance.
Yeah.
So those who wants to get into an independent business, this could be one of the line where they can get into the equipment maintenance and manufacturing side of it, because these flying equipment requires a regular kind of an routine maintenance.
Hmm.
And there will be as I mean, any motor industry, you'll have the motor specialists, those who are maintaining that
Yeah.
vehicle, as well as maintaining the serviceability of the vehicle. That is going to be a big sector which I see from the services perspective, where equipment maintenance specialist can be one of the role.
Hmm.
And I mean, nevertheless, we have different R&D sectors which are opening up.
Hmm.
People, those who are really creative in engineering, they can have the R&D and manufacturing as one of the area where they can enter into the drone industry. Because as recently Drone Mahotsav was got successfully inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister, three sector which were highlighted were the flying sector and the piloting sector. Another one was the manufacturing and maintenance sector, and third one was the data process or data specialist sector. So these are the basic core three sectors where there will be a lot of opportunities, those who wants to get into any of these area.
Hmm.
Coming
Yeah.
down to the agriculture sector,
Yeah.
you mentioned me about how the agriculture sector is going to help. I would say it's a boon for the agriculture sector from two aspects. One is the usage of drone in the agriculture sector. I'll give you a case study where
Hmm.
we have done a couple of projects where the farmer has farmed something, he has sowed something, and he wants to understand what will be the productivity of that particular crop, at the end of fourth or fifth year during the fourth or fifth month during the harvesting season, and that is possible using drone.
Okay.
So drone can help, certainly help to understand what will be the production of that particular farm in that particular harvest, using different types of technologies and different types of sensor which are available. That's the high end application of the drone, where the farmer can certainly understand where he needs to focus on his farm to increase the productivity.
Okay.
कहाँ उसको स्प्रे केमिकल्स स्प्रे करने हैं, कहाँ स्प्रे नहीं करने हैं. Using the drone data, he can very well understand and take the required corrective action at the required exact time.
Okay.
कई बार हो जाता है, पता चलता है बट लेट पता चलता है जब वो क्रॉप हार्वेस्टिंग के लिए आता है कि एक पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर में क्रॉप अच्छे से निकला नहीं है, राइट. दैट कैन बी प्रीपोन्ड, दैट analysis can be preponed and take the corrective action to get the right crop. Right, that is one area where farmers will get benefited. Second area is farms पे आपका chemical sprays जो होते हैं, pesticide sprays जो होते हैं, okay, that's a very laborious and time consuming and I would say very critical activity from the health perspective of that particular crop. Okay, वो time पे नहीं मिला, currently it is done manually. Human being carries the spray on their back and do it manually. Okay, during that period those guys are in demand. I mean then you have to wait till the person gets free. Okay, many a time you lose out on the time and many a times आप time पे spray नहीं कर पाते, जिसके कारण जो productivity loss होता है वो अलग से. Drones are basically replacing those manual activities completely. Two aspects: one is the speed at which the drone can complete those activities and the cost effectiveness. The speed and the cost effectiveness. Now the point comes whether the farmer needs to know all these things. Farmer can do it by himself, yes and no as well. The farmer, if the farmer is interested in taking only the services, there are organizations, there are companies, those who are providing those services only.
Okay,
10 सेक्टर का फार्म है, मुझे सिर्फ उसकी सर्विस चाहिए. आई डू नॉट हैव दैट मच ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, आई कांट इन्वेस्ट इन ड्रोन्स, मुझे उतना सर्विस करके चाहिए. यस, that is possible. And the big farmers now getting into their own into this sector, they're getting the piloting done as well as data analytics part done, both the areas they are interested in because they have seen the benefits which they can reap using this technology.
Okay.
So agriculture sector, I would say, is one of the most benefiting sector from the drone technology.
And also the health hazard which the pesticide
Exactly.
is supposed to be like, right? So I think that also
exactly the optimum utilization of the chemicals which they are using. जहाँ 10 लीटर में काम होता अभी हो रहा है, वहाँ optimally वो 8 लीटर में भी हो सकता है. And that is done using the technology. So cost effectiveness वहाँ से भी आ रहा है.
And also, like you said, predictive analysis and you are proactively solving the issues. So all these are very big benefits for the farming sector. Now in this particular sector, how do you see the scope for women to enter into this sector? There are many women, I'm sure, who are there into training and using drones and things. So what is your view about women getting into this industry?
I would say women empowerment is helping a lot, and they are neck to neck competing all the male counterparts in the drone industry as well. I've seen the training batches which we conduct for the pilot licensing. Okay, majority of them are women nowadays.
Okay,
majority of them. So they are interested in getting into the piloting sector. Another sector which, as I mentioned, was the data analytics part. So women with whatever constraints or whatever multi tasking the woman does at home, she needs to look after the family, she needs to look after the kids, right? Along with that, there is an opportunity for the data part of it. So we require women, we require trained manpower to do this data processing activity. And I've seen females are specialized in doing this activity because probably the type of nature of work which is involved, there is a consistent activity which needs to be performed day over day, year over year. Woman is in a better position to perform those jobs, specialist job. R&D engineering, and that is one sector where a lot of female having an engineering background or technical background are entering into. Equipment maintenance is as well one area where they can start independently using their own businesses and support the drone industry in the manufacturing and the maintenance part of it.
Okay.
All these sectors which I mentioned, the roles and the opportunities are equally distributed for women as well. I mean, there is no specialist male who can do that. Even the female can do that, and I've seen that on the ground now. I'm happy to share. I mean, we have our first batch of women pilots coming up, exclusive women pilots coming up.
Okay. And regarding the training, nowadays we talk about immersive learning and, the latest technologies being used, the AR, VR components, simulators, a lot of that. So when it comes to applying such training models in drone training, is there scope to do part of the training remotely, let's say on simulators, then go to the ground, so that, you have your scaling up happening very smoothly? Because like you said, there are only few DGCA certified training centers in India. Now, in case they have to cater to, let's say from Pune, you have to train somebody in Kerala or someplace. So is there a possibility of doing something like this?
I would say partially yes. There are two aspects to it. Yes, you rightly said. I mean, the existing technology network which we have, we are utilizing that network for the training purposes, where a partial portion of the certification can be done online and using simulators. So we have online classes. The person can get trained on the technology and the knowledge part of it online, and initial skill building, skill development using the simulator, because simulator is part of our training activity, training course. So person needs to undergo a simulation test before the entry into the field activity. So until the person gets qualified for the field activity, for actual flying, the entire activity can be done online at remote locations. But I mean, the last part where you need to really fly the drone needs to be done on the ground. So we do not encourage that to do online. So I would say 50% of the entire activity can be done online, and the rest we need to do it on field, because we have the ground test which needs to be performed before they appear for the final certification exam.
So this looks like you can have innovative partnerships with, other service providers, so that you can spread the impact of your training, probably in blended model. And I'll just come back to the government related question, which I was asking you in the beginning. Now with all the government support, the impetus and all, how do you see the industry heading, let's say in the next 5 to 10 years? What would be the requirement for lots and lots of training related initiatives?
2030 is targeted as the global hub, drone global hub India will be, which our Prime Minister as well as the Honorable Aviation Minister has already highlighted. We would like to become the global hub for the drone activities. And looking at that, I see the government has already geared up. They have started giving the right inputs to the industry. They have started supporting the industry by giving the right regulations and rules, as well as the SOPs for the entire activities. I would say training, manufacturing, and services would be the three pillars on which the entire industry will be going ahead with. And there's a huge support from the current government we have to get the drone industry to a level where the global players are looking at India to participate in this particular drive which the government of India has already started. I see a lot of potential in many activities, including training. Training will be the base activity because that's the skill development activity, but the industrial applications would go tremendously at a higher level once we have the skilled manpower who can perform the real task using the drones. So I see a very exciting future in the next coming quarter or coming decade for the Indian drone industry.
That's so exciting to hear. And also right from school level, we see that drone topics are included, like the vocational component for CBSE curriculum from class 6 to 12. We have seen that they have introduced subjects like drone and geospatial technology and all this. So looks like even through the vocational stream, there will be young boys and girls who will be getting interested in this, and also perhaps from ITIs, because ITIs are also going to introduce this as a subject, is what we hear often. So it looks like there is a bright future, and it is definitely going to be there. Now, what would be your advice to, let's say, young people who want to join this industry? You've already told us about the career potential. Besides that, is there something specific you want to share with the young people?
Certainly. I mean, I would say it's going to be a skill industry. Finally, you need to develop your skills in whatever area you are interested in. Develop your skill to the fullest extent. Okay. Uh, get on to the trainings where you enhance your skill. Just don't stick on to one particular area. I would always suggest them to expand their horizons in different applications, different industries. So they enhances their knowledge and the serviceability of their individual business or in their job roles as well. Right. And the third most important thing is understand and follow the rules and regulations, because this industry is based on a very I would say important parameters of safety and security.
Right.
Right. So understand the rules and regulation thoroughly, follow them. It's like it's your own responsibility to take this industry ahead. No one is going to police. No one is going to police you on. Right. No one is going to keep an eye on you what you are doing until and unless you fall into a trap. So don't get into those traps. Okay. Follow the rules and regulations strictly in this industry, as we want to grow this industry to the highest extent in India. So you are the young blood who is going to take this industry in the next decade to a next level. So be sincere about the activities which you are doing. That's my final advice.
So thank you, Amit, for sharing all the insights and views about the drone sector, which is a sunrise sector, as we discussed, and looks like from the Jawan to the Kisan, everybody is going to be, positively impacted by this sector. And thanks a lot, and we would like to be in touch with you to learn more about the industry and the training.
Absolutely. It was pleasure, Madhuri ma'am, talking to you and sharing my knowledge and understanding about the industry. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.